Part 2. Don't go nowhere.
Oh.
You can fix yourself, and we're going to do part 2. We're going to talk about the ship. Okay.
Halftime dance.
So part 2, part 1 is obviously room tour. Watch it so you know what an inside room looks like. You got any questions, let us know. Part 2, we are on the Serenade Seas, and we did a 10-night cruise out of Tampa. Went to Grand Cayman, Cartagena, Colombia,
Cologne, Panama,
Limon, Costa Rica, and then we went to Cozumel yesterday. So Serenade of the Seas is in the smaller class of Royal Caribbean ships, the Radiance class of ship. So you have the smallest ships being the Voyager. Radiance is the next set. So this is what the Serenade is. It's a 20-year-old ship. It was last refurbished in 2012. It holds about 2,500 passengers. But the interesting thing to note about this ship, it is gonna be the
Ultimate World Cruise.
Ultimate World Cruise, which is gonna be a 274-day experience. Met a couple people going on it, or you can break it up into sections. And this is going to be the ship that they're gonna use for that. And they are gonna do a revitalization. I don't know what that's exactly gonna entail, but we're on the ship in January of 2023. So that's when this review is gonna be. So let us tell you, I guess, let Joel tell you.
I think the Serenade is a perfect size ship. I really do. I like 2,500-ish people. It doesn't seem like there's that many people, and it's really nice because you see a lot of familiar faces. You can meet a lot of great people night after night. The staff, you see the same staff every day. Yeah. So you learn their names, they know your names, and you get to find out about them and their families, and it's awesome. I love it. But my biggest issue with this ship is the space, the areas to hang out, right? So like for adults, you have like the Safari Club, the Schooner Club, Vintages, the Centrum area. Really, Vintages and Schooner Bar are your big socializing spots. So pre-dinner, after dinner, a lot's going on in those areas, and sometimes it's hard to find seating, especially when there's shows in the Centrum. If you're not there early, you're going to be standing down there, or you're watching from 2, 3, even 4 floors up. Yeah. I think we watched at the computer center one day. We wheeled some chairs out and watched a show. So there's not a whole lot of space, and
they don't have a promenade. So that's when, if you've been on any Royal Caribbean ships, any Oasis class ships, they have the promenade. This ship doesn't have a promenade. It has what's called a centrum, and it's basically a big tube. And it goes up from floor 4 all the way up, and I think 8 or 9, and you can see all the way down.
Almost to the top,
yeah. And that's where they host like a lot of music events or just quick little evening game shows or stuff like that. But like Joel said, if you're not there early, you're not gonna get a place to sit or watch.
Yeah. And the question comes to mind immediately: why don't they use a Safari Club? The Safari Club is made, multi-tiered, 2 or 3 different levels, not super high, but tiered, and it goes in a horseshoe shape around a sort of a central stage. They have some pool in there, 2 bars, and a lot of seating. Some of it kind of looks reminiscent. It looks like maybe some couches you bought at a yard sale or something like that. Whatever, they're comfy, but having in the back of your mind that World Cruise, 274 days on this bad boy, I don't think I can do it.
There just wasn't enough places for us to just like really be comfortable and just want to curl up and spend an afternoon. We would go to the pool. The chairs obviously are packed, and if you are not up if it's a sea day and you're not up at 6 in the morning, you are not going to get chairs, because we are on a cruise right now where the majority of the guests are probably retirees,
65 and over.
Yeah, they get up early. We don't get up so early, so keep that in mind. And the solarium, for me, I didn't like the solarium because they didn't maximize the use of their space. They have maybe 40 good lounge chairs. The rest of them are kind of sitting chairs.
Yeah, it's not many.
And it's just a very small solarium. Again, the same thing. If you're not there super early, you're not going to get a good spot. So keep that in mind if you're coming on the Serenade.
So that kind of leads us back into the spaces on our cruise. So for 8 of these days, we were treating them as sea days.
Yeah.
So this is essentially a booze cruise for us, right? We've been a lot of places. I wasn't really super interested in Colombia or Panama or anything like that. Costa Rica and Sloths and Monkeys were top of my list, so that's what we did. So anyway, 8 sea days, right? And we love sea days. I find a lot of people that enjoy sea days.
Yeah.
You know, we're just chilling, hanging
Read a
out,
book, have
drinks,
some drinks.
you know, reading, talking to people.
Yeah.
You know, but the entertainment and the spaces were lacking.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is I kind of found myself getting bored at some point. Like, how am I going to kill 2 or 3 hours? Never had that problem on a cruise ship. Not saying it's a bad ship. Absolutely love the Serenade of the Seas.
Yeah.
But I will say that if they could open up some nooks and crannies here and there for little spots to just more seating, really.
Yeah.
You know, and even, I mean, we'll talk about the chairs real quick. Most of the chairs end halfway up the back and are rounded by hard-edged surfaces.
Yeah, they're just not very comfortable. Like, you don't want to curl up and just really enjoy yourself a lot in some places.
Yeah, they're not meant for long time sitting. So if you are like us and we go up and we play trivia from, you know, 2 to 5 o'clock, 3 hours in one of these chairs, it's just gonna whoop your ass on the back. I got problems anyway.
Thing that, you know, for me personally was the entertainment on the ship. A lot of times, you know, you come in on the ship and you've got your hotel, you've got your porch, you've got your entertainment. The entertainment on this ship, it just wasn't the best. They booked it was a one-man show that sang 2 nights in a row. They had a magician one night. They had a doo-wop band. Royal Entertainment and Singers, they're only performing 3 shows out of the 10 nights we're on the ship. And for me, I don't care for the cruise director. He seems like a perfectly nice guy. I just don't feel like he brings the oomph. And he was on the Harmony when we were on the ship, and we felt that also. We felt like he just didn't bring the wow factor to the entertainment. So.
Yeah, like Sarah said, he's more hands off. So his number 2 usually runs the show. You'll see him occasionally, hear him in the announcements and stuff like that. Funny guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
You either like him or you don't, and he will tell you that.
Not the high energy cruise directors that we've encountered in the past that, you know, are really out trying to hype the crowd up and that get the party started kind of cruise direct.
If this is going to become the world cruise ship, I hope they do some revamping of the entertainment, because personally I would not want to be stuck on here for 9 months. And that also leads me to another thing that I didn't like about the ship, and it's not the ship's fault. It is a smaller ship. We had 2 nights of, I would say, fairly bad weather. I mean, it was kind of fair to moderate winds and seas, and, you know, the ship was getting tossed about quite a bit, and that's the first time really ever on a ship that I've kind of been like, oh, like I'm gonna hurl. I spent, I don't know if it was because of that or what, but almost 2 days in bed, and there was a lot of people that was sick like that.
I slept like a baby.
It was like a roller coaster on a couple
Except
nights.
for the time I almost came off the bed. But other than that, it was great.
Just keep that in mind when you're booking the Serenade, because it is a smaller ship. So if you are prone to seasickness, if there's any kind of rough waves or anything like that, the ship does not handle those as well as some of your bigger ships. We chose to eat most of our meals in the buffet, and just because we had my time dining, and you know, if you're new to cruising, you get 2 dining options. You either get my time or you get a set time. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's because when I booked it or whatever, I did not get an option of picking a time for dinner. I automatically got my time. I prefer set time because we like to eat a little bit earlier. So for that reason, we ate in the buffet most nights, and we did some of the specialty restaurants here on the ship. We did all 3 of them actually, because I loved Giovanni's. We both loved Giovanni's. The steak there was excellent. Our server Kadek was excellent. I had a better steak at Giovanni's than I did at Chops, which is kind of sad because they're supposed to be a steak place. So I don't know what happened there. It was just a lot of the food I felt like was really under-seasoned.
Yeah, very bland. Buffet hasn't been bad. They've had some good stuff, but
Mexican night is really good.
Tex-Mex. Awesome.
Yeah.
Chimichangas. Just kidding, chimichangas. But yeah, they're awesome. I'd highly recommend Giovanni's.
Yeah.
I mean, I ate so much food. You probably saw what I had, a beach ball in my belly. I feel like I got a beach ball wedged in my body. I can't move. All I can do is like pivot around it.
It's terrible.
I ate so much food that it almost put me down for good. Like, it was bad. It was so good though, right? But chops was terrible. It was
Yeah.
bad. The steak. So they got our steaks backwards. So hers ended up being, you know,
Bloody.
still mooing, because that's the way I like to eat it. And like hers, or I got hers, which was like medium.
Yeah.
But either way, it was under seasoned and terrible. So
Yeah.
Yubani's highly recommend. Izumi, I'm sure is great if you love sushi. We're not big seafood people. I did try the firecracker shrimp spring rolls and the firecracker shrimp roll. Both were excellent. The ramen I thought was good. So they put seaweed, like a piece of seaweed in the bowl, and it sort of, I guess, marinates as you go down. And it got a little salty and kind of
Tastes like the ocean.
tastes like the ocean. Yeah. So I had to abandon that. But I didn't think Izumi was bad. It just wasn't for us. So
Yeah.
I would say give it a try if you love sushi, because a lot of the stuff I saw coming out of the kitchen looked great. They have lava cake up there too. That's the only place on the ship I could find it. Lava cake.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good, but it was lava cake. So take that for what it's worth.
I didn't care for my dinner up there at all,
Yeah.
and they don't have a hibachi table like on some of the other ships, so they just cook it in the back. But anyway, I got hibachi, a teriyaki beef, and it was like a huge chunks of beef, and it wasn't hibachi vegetables like he told me. Overall, yeah, we left out of there kind of still hungry, so we went to the buffet and Joel got some more chimichangas.
Yeah, which I absolutely don't need, but it was good.
But yeah, that is pretty much our thoughts. So if you have any questions, of course, let us know. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.